Hello and welcome to Arsenal Above All. So, how was your bonfire weekend? Good? Well, that old guy Fawkes might not have blown up Westminster, but if you need a job doing and a bridge being blown up, just call Super Mick Arteta's red and white demolition boys. You know it makes sense. Sifting through the debris with me tonight, I'm joined by Neil Shah. How you doing?
I can't follow that, can I? I'm sorry, I'm not saying anything. Hello, hope you're both well.
Just say top of the league. No, top of the league.
Top of the league, come on, champions.
Top of the world, yeah. And also joining me is the man, Stephen Osakwe. How you doing, bro?
All good, sitting on top of the world, mate.
Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Thanks for joining me again, guys, and spending your time. Thank you. We'll always appreciate that. So, gents, we rolled into West London with a full-strength team and started how we meant to go on with a thoroughly deserved win. A couple of more goals would have been great for the nerves, but we have Thiago Silva to thank for that. The guy was like a one-man defence at times. Steve, what was your take on the win, and what stood out for you on Sunday?
It was, I think, first team to do it in Premier League history, win 3 times in a row at the Bridge. Is that correct? Another clean sheet. Defensively sound. Never looked troubled at any point during the game. We gave them 0. Yes, they defended well at times. I know you mentioned Thiago Silva there, that block for Gabriel Jesus's shot and a couple other things as well. But they offered 0 in attack, absolutely 0. And just a couple of things to not talk about the game, but a couple of things that people have mentioned, and I would say more commentators and other managers and stuff like that, even Graham Potter himself, they talked about the process and where they are as Chelsea are in their process and stuff like that. And you just sort of go, 2 years ago, you guys were, 2-3 seasons ago, I can't remember now, but you guys were Champions League winners, weren't you?
Yeah.
So, and that's, a lot of your squad, and you've added people like Sterling, the other number 9 up front and stuff like that. So you've added to that squad, and your process is not anywhere comparable to our own. So we were dominant. We fully dominated them. And when people talk about Chelsea are at a different stage and blah blah blah, they've already got their team.
But hang on a minute. Just to interject. This is the same Chelsea that got to 5 cup finals in the last 2 seasons as well, wasn't it? Including the Champions League, cup final, the League Cup final twice. I think they got against Liverpool. The FA Cup final they lost against Liverpool in penalties. The World Cup final. So they're not a middling, mid-table team, are they? They're Chelsea. So
they're not us. They're not us, and I don't buy that whole because everybody's saying it now, and again it's bizarre to hear it because everybody's talking about their own processes and their own and where they are as teams and stuff like that, and trying to compare it to where we were and stuff like that. And they're using the same words that Arteta was using. And like I said, last season Chelsea were a decent side. They've got rid of Lukaku out on loan. They brought in Sterling and like I said, the other guy, and they should have been firing basically. And they're talking about, then Graham Potter was talking about not being in the same league as us in terms of where they are in their process, and they should be further ahead. So, like I said, we were dominant. We're top of the league. We beat them 1-0. It was fun at the Bridge again.
Indeed, Neil. Again, what was your take on the game? I think, like Steve said, it's funny how again the narratives are being changed, and it's not only the media. It's football managers are using it now to sort of give themselves a bit of a bulletproof vest and stuff to deflect from the shots that they're getting from some of the Chelsea fans and stuff saying I think Potter out was trending. But Neil, what was your thoughts on the performance and who or which number of players stood out for you?
But just quickly, first and foremost, I think every team is in transition apart from us now, because even Man City are they've just bought this amazing striker, but he's got to take time to bed in, of course, hasn't he? So when we beat City, that will be the narrative then. It's just I don't know. Where do we go with it, guys? Honestly, it's just the best thing to do is ignore. The best weapon is ignore and let us do what we're doing, and we're just going to keep going from strength to strength from what I can see anyway. I thought that was actually, apart from the lack, not scoring more goals, was a pretty flawless performance. To be honest, if you ask me who stood out, I can't pick one. I thought there was a magnificent. I'll say the team stood out for me. Yeah, of course, you've got the players that go above and beyond, and all the rest of it. Pretty much like this podcast, Arsenal above and beyond, above and beyond. Kind of similarities there with the words. But I just feel that the team was so well oiled, well put together. And I'm sorry, I keep hearing, well, Chelsea didn't play well. No. Again, I'll say it, and I've said it before. When we've gone against the odds, no one's given us a chance, and we've come through it on top. Then everyone says, "Oh, but the other team didn't play so well." We didn't let them play well. Partey and the way that all the other players set themselves up, we didn't allow them to do anything. We suffocated them. Our off the ball movement was exemplary. Our on the ball movement was the same. We didn't allow them anything. Jesus might not be scoring, but he's doing everything else. My goodness me, that man is just an unbelievable machine. We talk about Haaland and he's not human. Well, I could say the same about Saka. I could say the same about Martinelli. I could say the same about Jesus. Shaka, their work rates are just incredible. They're insane. And they do so much that maybe normally you don't see, because I've got to admit, even as a football fan, when I'm watching it, you're more looking at where the ball is and you're watching the ball. You're not so much looking at what the other players are doing. And I think that's the difference between us and seasons gone by. Our awareness has gone up exponentially. We're aware of where their players are and what positions to be in to cut off any kind of potential attacks or starts of manoeuvres, if you like. We're aware of where we need to be. For example, Partey is brilliant at doing that at the moment in midfield. He just seems to be in the right place at the right time to cut off anything that could be troublesome. And everyone else is just on it, playing for each other. And that's the difference. Everyone is playing for each other with one common goal, just to win the game and to be successful. And I think because of that, we're not a team of individuals anymore. We're a team of team. We're a team. We're basically a collective with one mindset. And from that is why I don't believe that I can pick anyone out, especially from that match, because I thought it was a complete team performance. And just very quickly, I know you might ask this, and I'm sorry to keep taking up airtime. I'm not concerned about the lack of goals at the moment. We're winning. We're getting the points. We are not for a second going to be competing with Man City with the number of goals scored. They are going to score bags and bags of goals. I don't think we're there yet, that level. But where we are, what we are doing is grinding out results with some good performances as well. We're getting the points, and we are going to have to win this league by points scored, not goal difference. So I'm not worried about the goals. And you know what? Jesus might not be scoring, but he is incredibly invaluable to the team. 100%.
Yeah, he's massive. I mean, I think James sent me a message with some of the stats with what Jesus was doing in terms of the amount of interceptions he's done, that amount of pressures and everything. And it was a defender would be proud of some of the tackles and stuff like that he's doing, and the way that goal came about, the corner. It came about from him pressing Silva because he just shut the door basically, and led to the turnover, which led to Saka slipping him in and him earning that corner, and then obviously the goal. So it wasn't the tidiest of finishes, but for me, before we go on to the actual goal and what happened afterwards with the celebrations and stuff, I think as Arsenal fans over the years, we've been spoiled. Well, we know we've been spoiled in some of the football that we've watched, and we've been privileged to witness in the flesh and everything. And one of the thing for me watching it here at certain times was, I think there was that move we made, which Jesus should have scored with that header. Always, it was unbelievable move, and the feeling I got straight from that was just pride for me. That this is my team. This is my team absolutely balling at another team's pitch and bossing it, and that pride that was there when we were doing what we were doing. Obviously, under Wenger, under the golden times, and just the football we were playing, and like this is my team, and this is the way we're playing, and that pride it just was evident so many times during the game. It was like, wow, this performance is just. It was what you'll say is a 1-0 battering. You know, it should have been 2. It should have been 3-0 at least. You know, some of the chances, especially the one Odegaard missed, the one Jesus missed as well.
The Ben White one as well went wide.
Yeah, you know, it was a 1-0 battering. You know, and
can I just say something, Michael, very quickly?
Yeah,
you know what you said about the pride, watching the build up to that goal, and that was all manufacturing defence. Again, Partey, I think, started he was involved again. What that was a parallel to the Jack Wilshere's goal scored against Norwich. Do you remember how amazing that was? I still think, for me, and I know I'm biased, I've never seen a better team goal than that, because to this day, I watched that over and over again thinking, how the hell did they do that? I just don't understand. And it reminded me of that, but in defence. And that started that move, which led to the Jesus miss. Incredible. So what you say about pride is spot on.
Yeah, the actual passing, the one touch and everything, and, you know, what you're saying, everybody knew where everybody was, and it was just automatic. But there's an automatic of being robotic, which is probably what, you know, Trophy Dodgers FC, you know, what the Shadow Dwellers, that's the way they play, you know, and then they go behind, and then, oh, let's throw everything forward, and let's get a glorious failure, which is what they're perfect at. But that's what they do, and everyone says, oh, what, they were so unlucky. But so there's automatic in that sense, but there's automatic in the freedom and in the way that these guys play. And again, you know, credit to Arteta, what he's done. I mean, that is coaching, that is top level coaching. A guy that is way ahead of the curve. And these guys are bought into it. I mean, you know, and obviously you can see the enjoyment that they get playing off each other, and in the goal and the celebrations, and at the end as well. But Steve, what was your, you know, obviously it came out of the blue a little bit, but, you know, what was your feelings on it? Well, obviously your elation, but when that went in, that was just probably scenes, limbs, as what they say, in the away end.
It was just deserved at that point. It was, I said, they offered nothing, and that they re-showed Cucurella holding Xhaka, and somebody said, well, Xhaka's kind of got his arm as well, and so yeah, it's a corner, and Havertz, I think, is the furthest forward, doesn't get a touch on the ball. It sort of bounces in an area where you think somebody would get a touch on the ball. It's going in, and Gabriel's just there. You can see, if you watch the replay of that goal itself, he's just in and around, and then he sees the ball going towards their end and just reacts.
Yeah. And
it's one of the ones where you just sort of hold your breath for a moment, and then it's in. And yeah, it's everybody will tell you, I don't care how you get a goal, you just get one. And then obviously they ran around, take the scenic route around Aubameyang, which was funny. And then you got Ben White being cheeky and kicking the ball into Odegaard's head. It's that sort of stuff that brings the team together. And as you both mentioned, with the pride that we get from watching this team play and performing the way they're doing, like I said, from as Neil was saying, from front to back to front, everybody's putting a shift in, and everybody's enjoying their shift. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's having fun. Ben White he had a couple of chances. He's a centre back / right back that missed a couple of chances. No problem. He had a go. I'd rather him have a go than not have a go. Do you know what I mean? He is. I know I talk a lot about Ben, but he's a proper player. And I said, even the cheeky stuff that we don't get to see on a normal day-to-day basis, but we just managed to catch a glimpse of it when he kicks the ball into Odegaard's head. It's just hilarious. It's just hilarious. That sums him up. He's fun and games, but he's serious. He's proper. Do you know what I mean? And if we look from front to back and we go, right, our front three, should they have scored? Could they have scored more? They had chances. They had opportunities. They ran Chelsea ragged all afternoon. And as Neil was saying about Jesus and what he does, look, the guy does not stop. Okay, he does not stop. And because of that work rate, because of that desire to to actually help the team. It does. You know, they look at the replay and how he's closing down the goalkeeper. He's cutting off an angle, so the only option is to go forward. And then that causes mistakes and leads to mistakes. And then you've got someone like Thomas Partey in the middle who's there to clean up those mistakes and get the ball straight back into our offense. And, you know, lots of the times we've got 4, 5, 6 players that transition from defense to attack like that in 10 passes, you know, 10 to 15 passes. And we've gone from defense to attack, and the neat 1-2 touches in and around our own box to go forward is just it's something. It's a joy to watch. And you know, as Neil said, you can't single out anybody. Even if you could say, well, Zinchenko steps back in, and what he brought into the middle of that press and that inverted left back role, and he understands that role well. So he brought that extra bit of something that Chelsea didn't know how to handle in midfield. You've got Thomas Partey just orchestrating neat touches. He's clean and tidy with his footwork and his passing ability. Again, people will go, oh, Odegaard. Again, one of the stats that I don't know if I might have mentioned before is he's out of all our players, he runs the most on a pitch. And I talked about it before and said, look, Ozil was the same. You don't notice it because it's not a measurable stat, but he's running into space to receive the ball, or he's running to take a defender away from the play. And that opens up gaps for other people. And people don't see that, as Neil was saying earlier as well, you know, we tend to focus on where the ball is going. Yeah. But when you watch individual players for, like, you know, a 5-minute period, and you just go, okay, what are you doing? Well, let's see what you're doing for a couple of minutes, you know, and just divert your eyes a little bit. You'll see more. And yeah, everyone. I mean, our Rolls Royce in defence. Come on.
I mean, it's getting ridiculous now. I'm seriously thinking of calling it Saliba above all, but it's just getting crazy, Neil. I mean, in terms of the goal, Neil, obviously touch on your view of it, but we've obviously, with the news that's come out today with Gabriel Magalhaes not making the Brazil squad for the World Cup. You know, this obviously would be a bit of a tonic for him. You know, do you think it's going to affect him in any way, or do you think, you know, he'll take it as a challenge? It seems like what he's done ever since he's come to Arsenal. It looks like he's come back, and you know, and he's just anything that's come his way, you know, even if it is adversity, you know, whether it's a sending off or an error such a goal, the guy doesn't hide, does he? But do you think he'll basically brush it off, or it's something that we maybe need to keep an eye on?
You're talking about the exclusion from the World Cup.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah, that is a hard one. I'd like to think that he will brush it off. I think he's obviously, he'd love to play for the country, of course, and be involved in the most, well, I'd say the best sporting competition on the globe, without a doubt. However, I think he's what all the players, not just himself, but what all the players have shown in the last 3 or 4 months, or since the summer break anyway, and since they've come back, is they've got this mindset and one goal, and that is to do the best they can for Arsenal. And it's not just about, you know, you'll get some mercenaries that come to our club. They just do it for the money, and they don't really care about the badge. I'm seeing something quite different about this squad. I'm seeing that they actually really do care about the badge, about the pride of the history of the club, the prestige of the club, what it stands for. Is something that Wenger is the foreman of instilling in this club of ours. It was always there, don't get me wrong, for decades before, but Wenger came and he's made it, for me, a class of utter class. And with it, he had certain values, morals, ethics, and a culture that he had developed. And I think these guys get it. And because of that, although it will hurt, the exclusion, I think he'll brush it off quite quickly. And I think he'll just get back to business come January. That's my feeling. As a human and as an individual, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you or Stephen, you'd feel a little bit, really? What have I done wrong? I'm a good player. I deserve to be in that squad as much as anyone else. But sometimes you just got to take it on the chin. It's part of being a professional, It's part of anyone who is in any kind of job or any professional job or business. Sometimes you've got to take the knocks. The test is how you respond. And I think he might respond well. It might actually do him. It might even be a psychological kind of hit where he actually becomes even better to say, look, this is what you missed, especially if that country doesn't do as well as it might expect it to have done. And he said, look at this, I've gone and won the quad with Arsenal. So there, you see what I mean? So
yeah.
You know what? I'm struggling. I'll be honest with you both. At the moment, I'm struggling to see any negatives. So any question you ask, whether it's lack of goals we're scoring, whether it's Jesus not scoring, whether it's how to put people, at the moment, I just think we're onto such a good thing. All I can see is positives at the moment. I'm struggling.
Yeah, we definitely we have to enjoy it. You know, we have to enjoy this, and you know, and crazily enough, there's still people out there that want to be sort of negative or take little snide shots at the club and at the players. You know, just one instance, I saw Arteta saying after the game, said his son was amongst the fans in the away end, and someone tweeted, "Oh, it's funny. I wonder how he got his 35 away credits to get a ticket for the game or something." You know, so a little snide thing is, "Oh, he's getting preferential treatment to get a ticket." It's like, really? This guy's an Arsenal fan as well. So, yeah, it's just mental. Another mental thing, which you know we touched on in the past, is Saka, and is he taking the mantle from Wilfred Zaha in terms of, hey, it's Saka, kick him. The referee's not going to do anything, you know, just kick him. And then when I do show a little bit of a slight retaliation, which I didn't think was anything wrong with that tackle he did on Cucurella. I didn't think there was nothing wrong with that at all. Hey, look, he gets a yellow card straight away. I mean, there's a stat saying I think he's been fouled 17 times or 19 times, or he's been fouled 19 times against 17 times, and he's had 3 yellow cards and only 1 yellow card against him. Steve, you know, make it make sense, man.
I can't is the short answer to that. And you know, look, I think that's why after the Southampton game, Arteta and the boys were just clear to just go, okay, well, you know what, it was down to us why we didn't win the game. Arteta will have it drilled in. Look, you guys are not going to get it. You guys are not going to have it easy at all. You're not going to have it easy. You're not going to get it your own way. You're not going to get the free kicks when you should get a free kick, and you've got to brush that off as quickly as possible. So just to go back to Gabriel not going to the World Cup, he would have known before that his chances of going were slim. And that's because the last international call-ups, him and none of them were called up, to be perfectly fair, but he hasn't been called up, and he would have known from then probably he's got a chance, but he's not got much of a chance because your centre-backs are your ones that you don't really play around with, whereas your forwards and your midfielders you can play around with a little bit and try and work out. With Saka knows that he's going to get kicked a lot. And he's grown as a player, and you know, as somebody that has taken on that I'm that guy sort of role, and he knows that with that responsibility comes the negatives from that, which is being booted around every week and not getting the protection from the referees. It's bizarre how the golden boy can always can do anything, and it gets talked about. I mean, I watched Match of the Day just to laugh, to be perfectly fair. And you know, you look at the I think was it the Tottenham Liverpool game when they were talking about something, you know, it's a push and it should be a penalty, and it's like, dude, how have you guys mentioned that? And then that game against Southampton, you brushed over everything.
Yeah,
you brushed over it like it didn't even come up. It got brushed aside. So Arteta will just be saying to them, look, it's us versus them. Be a strong unit, and we'll do this together. And so far this season, that's what's happened. I mean, again, when we talked a couple of pods ago, and I said, look, I'm more worried about Southampton than I am against like a Chelsea sort of team, is because we beat Chelsea. Like, we can easily lose that game, but we beat them. And I was confident that we would beat them. The Southampton game, I was just like, yeah, we don't get much change at St Mary's. And we go forward into that game. And like I said, Saka was kicked about. Jesus was kicked about. Jesus was punched about. You know, Tierney was punched. Like, do you know what I mean? And nothing. So whenever we watch a game, I remember, especially when we used to work there, Mike, and we used to go foul. Yeah. Arsenal's first tackle, booking.
Yellow card. Yeah.
Yellow card. It goes without saying. So Arteta will just drill that in and just go, look, you can't think about it. Don't dwell on it. Did you get a decision? No. Okay, you move on. Get it into your heads. You're going to get a lot of negatives that are going to come from what I like to say external influences. Yeah. Block it out. Focus. Win your individual duels, and just do you. It's in our hands.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Neil, you touched on that in the past, how, you know, when we play, you know, we've got to be so good, you know, that we just make the referee irrelevant, whether it's, you know, decisions on goals or offsides or whatever, linesman, or it's situations like that where a player is getting, you know, battered, not getting any protection. Let's just go up the other end and put the ball in the back of it and then worry about it. See, so I mean, you know, I'm concerned about Saka, especially when he comes back from the World Cup. The way I'm just worried the way Southgate's going to treat him. But obviously, compounding that is just the way he's not getting any protection whatsoever from the officials. I mean, is that just us? Is it an Arsenal thing? People are saying it could be something else. I won't touch on that, but I mean, did you say just us? Just the way that is just proof that we are ref differently from any other club. No, there's no conspiracy situation. That is just it. That is the facts. We are just ref differently than any other club.
I think, yeah. Firstly, I just want to say what Stephen just said was brilliant. Absolutely spot on. Everything he just said there was spot on. There's two parts to this. The first part is, I think you're right, Michael. We're just not. It's funny how Kane, English captain, or England's captain rather, and some other players in the past, and they get treated like royalty when they play for their clubs. And you'd think that the amount of how can you say, the accolades that Saka's got from footballing fans. So I won't say Arsenal fans. I'm saying people who appreciate football. And no one can deny he's a great player, fantastic player. So even if he didn't play for Arsenal, I'd be saying he's what I wish we had him.
Yeah,
you know. So it's not about because he's playing for Arsenal, and that makes me wonder why he is not getting that protection.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it should be unfair, but there should be a degree of it. And you know, as Stephen touched on, it's just nothing, absolutely nothing. I mean, it's even on that day that Cucurella, I can't stand that guy. I'm sorry, but what he was doing to him, and I was thinking he's getting away with murder. I mean, even for the goal, if I ever wanted a bear hug, if ever I felt low, I'll go to this. I say, "Can you give me a bear hug, please?" Because how can you just hold Xhaka like that, like he's a prisoner? In nothing, you don't get nothing. All right, went the goal winning, great. But imagine if the goal hadn't got in, I'd be going, "Hang on a minute,
yeah.
What? Nothing's given for that. What is going on here?" And it just think. I think it is an Arsenal thing. And I know people are going to think there's no such thing as a conspiracy. Well, I used to believe that, guys. I truly did. I used to think it's a share of good and bad luck. Every club gets it.
Yeah.
But my mind has been turned over the last 2-3 seasons from stuff I've seen. And then you think back to the old Trafford game where we were destroyed by the officiating to stop our unbeaten run. And then previous games before that. And you start snowballing in your mind.
Yeah.
And you think, actually, do you know what? I think there is something against us. I don't understand why Saka doesn't get it. I doesn't get the protection that he needs, not deserves. Because let me put it out there: every player needs it, not just Saka. Every player for every club, but it's not there. It's not there, and it just seems to be more on us for some reason, from a negative standpoint. The second part to this, I just wanted to add, I have to give Saka. Everyone talks about Haaland being this machine. He's a robot as well, because the game that I went to, which is one where he kept hobbling and oh god, it was Forest game, wasn't it? And and I thought he's out. He's got to be out now until at least for a couple of games, if not more. Just the guy, and he comes back even better than ever. Are you thinking, what is this boy made of?
Comes back against Zurich. He even came on against, you know what I mean? Like a couple of days later. Just crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Mate, guys, what is going on with him? I don't know what he's eating, but he nothing. Look, even the debacle, the horrendous rubbish he got after that penalty miss, and you think that could have destroyed any player, any individual, let alone someone who's young like him. And he's come through it. I'm not saying he's had it easy. He must have gone through hell, but he's come through it. And what a testament to his character. So, you know, Michael, you just said a minute ago, I don't know, you know, the way Southgate treats him, I don't know how he's going to be after the World Cup. Mate, I don't have any problems or worries about it at all, because this lad is something else. I think he is he's such a great idol to youngsters. And I think he's just going to become more so as time goes on. I think he's amazing. And I just hope that this guy, along with so many of the others that we have in our squad now, stay and commit to us for at least 6 to 8 years, because I think we've got the makings of something very, very special here. And he's going to be central to it because of the way he is. He's incredible. He's an incredible player.
Yeah, he wants it. He wants it. That's the difference, I think. You know, you can't pick out anybody in our team that doesn't want it at the moment. But like I said, when it came to I believe in, it was I'm happy to step up and be the guy. I'm going to be that guy, and he's done it. You know, you talked about World Cup penalty misses and stuff like that. We've seen Southgate, we've seen Stuart Pearce, and we've seen how it's affected them. And you know, remember when Saka got his redemption, when he finally scored a penalty and himself and stuff like that. So we've seen it. But again, on the flip side to that, you've seen others sort of fade and not come back from it. And you know, Saka, all the boys as well too that didn't score, but Saka especially has come back and has just gone right. Any bit of responsibility, I'm happy. Give it to me. I'll take it. I'll take it on. I will deal with it, and I will deal with it like a proper person. And he's been a monster. He's been an absolute monster. You know, I know when he went to the awards and you know he came 8th and stuff like that. And I was thinking that out of most players that were on that list above him, there's not many I would have put above him, to be perfectly fair. And that's not even just being a bias thing. That's just looking at his performances during that time. And what he's done. He got to the Euro final. Yes, unfortunately, he missed a penalty, but he was one of the standout players into that tournament. He came back to his club, and yes, he had a lot of things hurled at him and stuff like that, but he also got a lot of support from not just Arsenal fans, but from fans all around. And he took that on, and he plays with a smile. Do you know what I mean? He's happy. Nothing's better than seeing a happy footballer. You get some that are just like, you know, straight business and nothing else. And Saka, like Santi Cazorla, when we had him, just plays with a smile, and it's a joy to watch. Because when we talked about this before again, and every time you see Saka pick up the ball, what happens? 2 players just go, "Whew, he's got the ball. You must do something to stop him." Yeah, and he's like, "Okay, well, look, come at me if you want." But just know that either I'm going to beat you with a bit of skill and go past you, I'm going to lay it off and still run past you. Whatever I'm doing, I'm doing it. You know, I'm going to do it, and that just sets him. He's got all the attributes to be one of the best in the world.
Definitely, 100% agree. Echo those thoughts from both of you. Another guy who, you know, who's definitely on his way to being one of the best in the PL and then hopefully in the world, and someone who's definitely got the hunger is your boy Ben White or Benjamin White. Steve, before we go on to the last bit of the show, we'll talk about him. Got some numbers for you, man. That at the bottom is his heat map for the season, not for the game against Chelsea. So that's his stats for the game against Chelsea, and his heat map for the season's average positions. You can just see what the guys he's doing. He's literally lighting it up down there. Kind of want him to, you know, have a nice rest, you know, in Dubai and playing a couple of friendlies. But obviously, you know, I think if Southgate doesn't pick him, he's young on the form guy at the moment. I think he'd probably end up playing Trippier. But he again was outstanding again, as was I think the whole back four, especially Zinchenko coming in cold like he did, and not having any minutes, even against Zurich, I thought he'll come on for about 5-10 minutes or whatever. He didn't. So he come in that game. And I think everyone is just on top of the game. Ramsdale didn't have anything to do either, did he really? He's just quiet.
He could have had a drink if he wanted to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you hear about the rumour about Aubameyang, apparently? I mean, I think it's just all, people stirring the pot. But apparently there was a rumour that Aubameyang had a Spider-Man mask hidden behind the goal, so that when he scored, he was going to put it on as a shot at Arteta. But I doubt he would have done that. But then someone said it would have been great if Ramsdale had picked it up and put it on and just stood in goal with it on, because he didn't have anything to do, did he? He would have just been but no, good stuff. Thanks, Isaac. We're going to after a quick break, we're going to talk about obviously the next game, which is against Brighton in the League Cup, and obviously finish against Wolves on Saturday, and then we have a nice Christmas break. So we're going to talk about that in a second. Right, so we got Brighton, Carabao Cup at home. So I'm giving you guys your Mikel Arteta, Super Mikel Arteta on Wednesday. What do you do? Do you want to win a trophy, or do you want to focus on getting the rotation and giving the? For me personally, or before I'll ask you guys, I'll literally take all 11 who played on Sunday out the equation. I just want them to be focused for that game on against Wolves. I think it's the evening game. I think it's early at 5:30. I think it is. So they'll be up for it. Last game for them, last game for everyone before Christmas, before the break. I just want them to be fresh so we can go at them, beat them, and celebrate again on their pitch, wind them up. I can't wait. I've got the Twitter ready to absolutely blast the Wolves fans like I triggered them last time. Can't wait for that. But what would you do, Neil? Would you do mix and match, or would you play a lot more of the kids, or just put basically the guys that like Cedric or whatever? What would you do on Wednesday night?
Well, I know what your motive is now. That's why you want them rested, so you could have your fun on Twitter.
Proper Dunham, man. No, I mean, it was just an innocent tweet, man, and people just were coming for me. They saying, "Oh, you're this and that." I was like, "Oh,
get ready again, then."
You guys started it. You guys started it, mate.
You're gonna have a busy Sunday, mate.
No, you guys started it. Arsenal finish it. That's the.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. No, it's a compliment, mate. I can't wait. So I think I'm with you. I look, for me, every cup is important. Every cup is important in my book. A trophy is a trophy. It's still something for the lads to look back on a season and say, yeah, we did that. So it's important. It doesn't matter whether it's a League Cup or whatever it is. It's a mark of success for me, and it's also reward for hard work, and just achieving something. So I don't want to be one of these people that think, well, now League Cup don't matter, Tin Pot Cup, not interested. No, definitely not like that. However, I think Mr. Positive, didn't expect us to be doing so well at this stage, honestly. Even me. I mean, I said we'd win the title from the start, but the point is I didn't think we'd be like almost the flawless record, and it should have been because I think we deserved a point against Man U, but anyway, that's a different story. So given the circumstances, I think he should make sure that our first 11 are properly rested, so that we do go in. And there's arguments about now whether the World Cup has come at a good time for us, because we're on a bit of a run now again. We've got that momentum, we've got the snowball rolling in a good way. I still think it's probably a good thing that we've got it. I know it's unusual, it's very unprecedented. You don't, first World Cup ever in my lifetime that has come at this stage of the year. And it's like, it feels weird. It doesn't feel right. It's something very strange. But I'll welcome it, because some of the players who do need a rest will get that rest. The only issue with that is, how does Arteta motivate them when they return? Some of them might return as World Cup winners. How does he motivate a World Cup winner? That could be a bit of a conundrum. But if anyone can do it, Arteta can do it. Fully back him, fully behind him on that one. Yeah. So I want to go. I like you, like everyone, like all Arsenal fans or true Arsenal fans, not the ones that sit there moaning and groaning all the time. I'd want to go top because I can see Man City winning their last game. So I mean, it's at Brentford, isn't it? I think they've got a tough.
Yes,
well, you never know. That could be a bit tough for them. They're not steamrolling teams in the last few games like they have been at the start of the season. So you never know. But you can't rely on that. We've got to focus on ourselves. And I think we have to give ourselves every opportunity to be able to do that. So having said that, I think we should go for literally a complete change. Whether Arteta keeps one or two players in like he has kind of done, he may still do. But I've got no problem with a completely different 11. I really haven't. James put a team up, and it looked pretty good. It was a completely different team. I think the only person he had in there was Gabriel, and everyone else was different. But you could, in theory, play Tomiyasu as a central defender with Holding, and you could have Cedric and Tierney on the right and the left. So it's possible, So we can have potentially a complete change. But I don't know what this fitness situation is with Tomiyasu. I don't know. So maybe Gabriel Holding may be the answer. But other than that, everyone different. Like the Europa, the difference with the Europa is he had a lot of the seniors on the bench.
Yeah.
I think he should not do that. Maybe one or two just in case, because Brighton, let's not forget, are a good team.
They're a good side. Yeah.
They're a good side. All right. So maybe you'll have one or two, but maybe I should think if I was Arteta, I would go for a high percentage of the academy players. And there's some damn good ones out there.
Yeah.
And give them a chance. The game could go well for us. We could be winning comfortably and there could be 20 minutes left and you could bring these unknowns on and give them a chance. So that's how I would go. Cool. He's the manager. Let's see what he does.
Yes, Steve. Cool. Steve, what would you do along the same lines or different?
I think it's best to. I think what I would like him to do and what I think he will do are two. As Neil said, they're two totally different things. I think he will just say, like he always does, is you go out there and you win the game. So he'll put out a team like the Europa League team. That's what I think he will do. And he will say, go out there and win the game. Players that I think he will continue to play is, as Neil said, Gabriel in defence. And then he will pop back into midfield instead of Partey. And he did well against Europe, by the way. His first game back and his first game of the season, pretty much, since he got his injury. And again, he'll just slot in and do what and then he does. And, Pyramid Perlo, as they like to call him. And we'll see Eddie up front. We'll see Nelson on the wing. He might go with Gabriel or Saka. Usually does one of them. He might not. And Vieira in for some of Ødegaard and stuff like that. So I think we're going to see a much changed side. The interesting. I know it's good to rest everybody before that last game, but I think what Arteta's done, and which is what I'd like to see, is you keep players ticking over. So you don't make too many changes so that players, because we've had it before in the past when we've rested a whole team and then they've come in the week and then they've just got at the weekend and just gone, oh yeah, but we haven't played for a week and we're all a bit casual, like, do you know what I mean? So he keeps the mentality there for the team to just go, right, we're ticking over, you're going to play. And it keeps the players guessing that if you're going to play, I'm not going to tell you too soon. So just know that if you're going to be called upon, then you're going to play. Wolves are also playing that day as well. I'm not expecting them to put out a half squad themselves. And then when it comes to the weekend, we'll beat them at Molineux. No questions about it, to be perfectly honest. I'm with Mike on that one. Wolves will always be a difficult game, but I just think that will be too strong for them. And the players going to the World Cup will want to. Okay, they will want to send off in style, and those not going will want to play every minute of football between now and the end, now and the break. So it'll be quite a strong squad.
Yeah. So you're predicting obviously a couple of wins, guys. Another couple of wins to round off the year. especially against Wolves. Obviously, I think City have got Brentford at home. I think, Neil. So I think that's an early one. That's the early one as well. So we'll know pretty much early doors what they've done, and what, you know, and obviously what we have to do, which is just probably again just to win again. You know, it seemed to be playing before us because obviously they play the Champions League and then we play on Thursday nights. So we play after them. So. So hopefully, yeah, we can, you know, navigate Brighton. You know, they're a good side. I'm sure they're going to do some rotation as well. So they won't be playing, you know, first team. Maybe they'll play a couple more. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good game because I think that De Zerbi, he's a attack-minded coach. So I think it'd be a pretty good game. I don't think it's on the box, which is a shame. So it's another one you have to try and find. But yeah, Wolves going to be a test. You know, there's a bit of bad blood with them. Obviously after what happened last season.
We've got Costa.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll be doing some more celebrating come the end.
They've got the Bulldog at their team as well, Diego Costa.
He's suspended, I think. He got sent off, didn't he? He got sent off a couple of games ago, and I don't think the league, they've changed the rules where normally a league game or FA Cup game would take away that ban or be affected by it, but it isn't. So if you get sent off in the league, if you've got an FA Cup game between, that ban doesn't affect that. You still have to serve it. So I think he's missing, which is
okay.
I mean, the two boys at the back would have eaten him up anyway. You know, he's an old man now. You know, he would try it, but Saliba would just probably look at him and just laugh at him. You know what I mean? In his smoking jacket while he's just like, you know, in his Rolls Royce, just cruising down the wing. Do you see that run he made as well? That down the right wing. He's like, what this guy is just, he's unbelievable. But anyway, the good thing, guys, this is just a start, isn't it? This is just the start. We've not reached Super Saiyan form yet. We've not reached the end of the actual process or whatever you want to call it. You know, there's a few more bits and pieces to be added to the jigsaw. Not disregarding anyone that's done anything to get us to where we are. You know, full respect to that. But the fact that this is just a start, and we've got the likes of Gary Neville. You can see it's hurting him. He hates the fact that seeing what we're doing. People like Jason Cundy hate seeing what we're doing. O'Hara, they hate it because they're jealous. They see that what we've got, and as Neil said earlier, this is like there's a few years ahead of us being at, you know, where we are at this level. All the rest of them are all a mess, all over the place. You know, the other lot, they've got players at the end of their careers, you know, hitting 30 plus. United are trying to do what we're doing, but they're not doing it. They still want to try and get players for 80 odd million or whatever and plaster over cracks. But no, it's just the beginning. Like this channel is just the beginning, hopefully. And again, Ross, thanks for you guys for your time. Really appreciate it, spending your time with me tonight. I appreciate everyone that's taken time to watch this, because again, you know, time is something that, you know, you can't get back. So I appreciate anyone that's taken the time to watch the show. If you do like it, please spread the word, share it with all fellow Gooners and good football people who appreciate you know, good football chat. I'll be back next week for obviously sort of end of season, sort of end of half season roundup. We might do a half-term report on some of the players. Get Headmaster Neil. He'll get his cane out and start deciding who he's going to whip and everything like that. Who needs to do better, and Steve will be the cool teacher that everyone likes to, you know, stay behind in attention with. But we'll be back next week. Thanks for everyone for watching. You know, a couple of big games to go. Every game's a big game for Arsenal. I keep saying that. But I've been Michael Harris. He's been the man Neil Shah, and this geezer down here, he's Stephen Stepney Osakwe. Have a great week, everyone, and let's hope we can finish at the top of the Christmas tree next week. See you then. Thanks.
Take care.
Yeah, see you later, Neil. See you later.
Effing
Brilliant.
You know who made it.